You are not going to believe this. Seriously, pull up a chair, get comfy, because this is one of those holy crap, what happened next? Stories. I'm still, half processing it honestly. You know how sometimes you look back and think, yeah, I probably should have seen that coming? Well, this whole thing was a giant flashing billboard, and I just chose to ignore it. Or maybe I just didn't want to deal with it. Whatever. So, my name is Brittany. I'm 30. And for the past 5 years, I was married to Liam. Liam was okay. He was one of those two nice guys, always trying to avoid conflict. A total people pleaser. He'd nod and smile even when he was clearly annoyed, which, let me tell you, gets old fast. Can you just have an opinion for once? Be a man. Our life was pretty normal. We had a decent apartment, split the rent and bills, had our own cars. Nothing crazy. Liam worked his job, and I worked mine, at the office, doing office things. My boss was sometimes a real pain, but that's just how it goes, right? Things started getting off, I guess, about 2 years into our marriage. Liam started getting really into his online gaming. Really into it. He'd be up late, talking to these people, these strangers, through his headset. And I'd be like, who are you even talking to? He'd just mumble something about his guild, or whatever. It annoyed me. I mean, we're married. Shouldn't he want to spend all his free time with me? I'd make little jokes about it, oh, still playing with your imaginary friends, are we? Just subtle digs, disguised as humor. He never really got mad, just kind of sighed. And the money thing? Ugh. We were supposed to share expenses, right? But then he'd get all particular about how I spent my money. If I bought a new dress or got my hair done, he'd give me this look. Hello? A girl has to look good. It's not like I was asking him to pay for it. My money was my money. His money, though, sometimes it was for our shared bills, but mostly it was his. I always kept my own finances separate. Just in case. You gotta protect yourself. But if he bought something for himself, like a new game or some fancy tech thing, I'd be like, wow, Mr. Big Spender. Hope you're not planning on living on ramen noodles for the rest of the month. He'd just laugh, but I think he knew I was serious. He was so passive-aggressive, always avoiding real arguments. He also had this friend, Sarah. She was always way too friendly with him, if you asked me. Always texting him, asking him about his day, even about my day. She was clearly a bitch, always trying to worm her way in. I'd make little comments when he was talking to her. Oh, is Sarah calling again? What does she want now? Just to make it clear that I wasn't thrilled. I'd question his friendships constantly, always wrapped up as concern, even though I had plenty of my own friends he didn't know much about. Double standards, What's good for the goose isn't always good for the gander. And I would never let him check my phone or anything. That's my privacy. But I'd definitely sneak a peek at his sometimes, just to see what he was up to. You gotta know, right? I also had my own life, obviously. I mean, a girl needs to find herself. Right. I started spending more time online, in different chat rooms and forums. Just, talking to people. Nothing serious. But then I met Dragonslayer in 99. His real name was Kyle. He was from out of state, in Houston, which was perfect. No real-life entanglement. We started talking a lot. A lot. He was funny, he actually listened, and he thought everything I said was brilliant. Unlike Liam, who just seemed tired all the time. He was so emotionally distant, so hard to read these days. It was like he was checked out of our marriage. The conversations with Kyle started getting personal. Flirty. Exciting. It was like a little secret, just for me. Something new and thrilling. Liam was so predictable, so safe. Kyle was a whole different vibe. And honestly, I deserved a little excitement. My life was getting pretty boring. One night, things with Kyle just escalated. We were chatting, and it turned into video calls, and then, well, you know. It wasn't planned, it wasn't some grand romantic gesture. It was just easy. And fun. I mean, it was online, right? It's not like it was real cheating. It was just pixels on a screen. What's the big deal? It didn't mean anything. When Liam came home, he seemed tired. I just acted normal, you know, like nothing happened. He asked about my day, and I just said, "Oh, it was fine. Just working." I didn't mention Kyle. Why would I? What he doesn't know won't hurt him. And it wasn't like I was doing it to him. I was doing it for me. For fun. But then it kept happening. Not just with Kyle. Sometimes it was other guys I met online, or even just some random guy at a bar when I was out with friends. Just, you know, harmless flirting that sometimes went a little further. It was just, for fun. A little thrill. Liam was always so trusting, bless his heart. He'd ask where I was, and I'd say I was at my friend's or at work. And he'd just say, "Okay, honey, be safe. Love you." And I'd just say, "Love you too," and hang up. Easy peasy. I also started posting a lot more on Facebook. Feeling so blessed, with a picture of me and Liam looking all happy. Or, "Date night with my amazing hubby," when we actually went out. You gotta keep up appearances, right? And honestly, it made me feel better. Like, see? Everything's fine. We're perfect. It was just a way to get some validation, because, let's be real, Liam wasn't always giving me what I needed. He expected grand gestures from me, but he gave minimal effort. He was always comparing me to other women too, making me feel inadequate. Our arguments, when we had them, were never really arguments. He'd try to bring something up, and I'd just shut down. Or I'd cry. Not like fake cry, but just, you know, get teary. It's hard to yell at someone who's crying, right? It just makes him look like the bad guy. And then he'd apologize, even if he was the one who was upset. It was so easy to just make him back off. Like I'd be upset about something, and he'd try to explain his side, and I'd just say, "You're being dramatic. It's not that serious." And then he'd just give up. It's like he just wanted to avoid the conversation altogether. Sometimes I'd use my personal trauma, you know, like, "You don't understand, I've been through so much." And he'd just drop it. It worked every time. Things at work, my job, were getting a little interesting. I was talking to Kyle more and more, and it was getting distracting. My boss, who was already a pain, started getting on my case. I tried to charm him a little, but it didn't work. My projects were falling behind, and I was getting less and less responsibility. I was just stuck in this toxic loop, and I couldn't get out. Then one night, Liam came home from work, and he looked different. Not angry, not sad, just tired. Really tired. Like he was burnt out. He sat down on the couch, and he didn't even turn on the TV. Just sat there in silence. My heart did a little flutter kick of panic. This felt different. "I need a break," he said, his voice flat. "I need to find myself." My mind raced. A break? What was he talking about? A break? What do you mean, a break? What's wrong now? "You're being dramatic, Liam. It's not that serious." I tried to get teary, but it didn't quite work this time. He just looked at me, his eyes dead. "I can't do this anymore, Brittany. I'm exhausted." He paused. "I know about him, Brittany. About Kyle. About the cheating." My blood ran cold. My face went blank. How? How did he know? Cheating? What are you talking about? There's no cheating. I don't know any Kyle. You're making things up. I started to get really defensive, gaslighting him, making him question his own perceptions and memory. "You're always trying to make me out to be the bad guy. You're just trying to control me." He just shook his head. "I saw the messages, Brittany. The video calls. Everything." He was so calm, it was terrifying. You asked for transparency from me, but you hid everything. You were always so defensive about your whereabouts. I finally just looked. My heart pounded. He checked my devices? That privacy invader. How dare he? You went through my things? That's a complete invasion of privacy. You had no right. I had every right, he said, his voice firm. You're my wife. And you were cheating on me. With a man online. While telling me you needed to find yourself. You wanted a break to run off with him, didn't you? You even told him you were going to leave me. Panic thoughts flooded my head. He knows. He knows everything. No. No, I didn't. I never said that. You're misremembering. You're twisting things. I was trying to rewrite history, to change the narrative. But he wasn't budging. He had been a too nice guy for so long, and now he was completely different. He was finally Mr. Growth Mindset, setting boundaries, self-aware. It was sickening. I'm done, Brittany, he said. I want a divorce. Divorce. The word hung in the air. I actually laughed. Divorce? Liam, don't be ridiculous. It was just online. It wasn't real cheating. It was just for fun. You're making a huge deal out of nothing. It's not like I actually left you for him. It was just a little excitement. I tried to touch his arm, but he pulled away. For fun? He repeated, his voice dangerously low. You cheated on me, your husband, for fun? And you think that's okay? You were making promises to this man online, talking about a future, while making me feel inadequate and threatening to break up during minor disagreements. You're a relationship hostage-taker, Brittany. And I'm done being your hostage. It wasn't a big deal, I insisted, my voice rising. It was just a few times. It's not like I loved him. It's not like I was trying to hurt you. You're overreacting, Liam. Seriously, you're being so dramatic. He just shook his head. No, Brittany. I'm not. I'm done. And that was it. He was firm. He didn't yell, he didn't scream, he didn't even cry. He just stated it. He wanted a divorce. I tried everything. I cried real tears, I begged, I pleaded. I told him I loved him, that it was a mistake, that I was confused, that I was just going through a phase. I even tried to use the "my trauma makes me act out sometimes" card, but he just looked right through it. He just kept saying, I can't trust you, Brittany. I deserve someone who respects me. Honestly, I was shocked. Liam? The too nice guy? Standing his ground? It was like he was a completely different person. He had finally checked out, completely. He wasn't emotionally distant anymore. He was just gone. And there was nothing I could do. The divorce was messy. He was so stubborn. He wouldn't budge on anything. I tried to fight for more, to make him pay for more, but he just said, I'm only paying for what's fair. He had his own lawyer, and suddenly, he wasn't the people pleaser anymore. He was Mr. Growth Mindset, setting boundaries and being all self-aware. It was sickening. He even brought up all the little jabs I'd made, the financial stuff, the way I'd shut him down. He had been keeping a mental tally, the scorekeeping I'd always done to him, but he'd kept it to himself. Now he was using it against me. It was like he'd been planning this for months. I told him he was rewriting history, that he was making things up, but he just wouldn't listen. And then he started dating. Like, almost immediately. I saw pictures on Facebook, not that I was looking, of course, but they just popped up. He was with this woman, Chloe. She was nice. Too nice. Just like him. And she seemed genuinely happy. Like, annoyingly happy. They were always doing things together, going on hikes, volunteering at shelters. It made me sick. Meanwhile, I was still trying to figure out what happened. I'd tried to call him, to text him, just to see what he was up to. He never answered. He never returned my calls. It was like I didn't exist anymore. My life, after the divorce, just went sideways. Kyle. Dragonslayer 99. He totally ghosted me. Turns out he wasn't interested in a relationship outside of the online world. He just wanted to mess around. And honestly, all the other guys I had been talking to online, they all just kind of disappeared. It was like my entire online world just evaporated. I tried to keep things going with some of the guys I'd been seeing in real life, but it was just for fun, and they knew it. They weren't looking for anything serious. And honestly, they were starting to get boring too. The thrill was gone. I tried to tell my friends what happened, how Liam was being such a jerk, how he was overreacting. But even they started looking at me weird. Like I was the one who was wrong. Some of them even stopped calling me back. It was like my reputation was slowly getting destroyed. Complete social collapse. At work, things got bad too. I was so distracted, so upset, that I started making mistakes. My boss, who was already a pain, started getting on my case. I tried to use my charm, to flirt a little, but it didn't work. My projects were falling behind, and I was getting less and less responsibility. I could feel it. My career was starting to implode. I was just stuck in this toxic loop, and I couldn't get out. Professional destruction. And then the biggest kick in the teeth happened. I found out Liam and Chloe were getting married. Seriously, can you believe it? He moves on that fast? And to someone so boring? I saw a picture of them together, and he looked so happy, so genuinely in love. It was sickening. He looked like he was finally living his best life, and I was just stuck. Relationship devastation. I was watching him move on with someone genuinely loving, and I was just me. I started desperately begging him to come back. I called him, texted him, left voicemails. I told him I'd changed, that I realized how much I loved him, that I couldn't live without him. I used every emotional manipulation trick in the book. I even threatened to show up at his work. I was like a relationship hostage-taker, threatening to blow everything up if he didn't give in. But he just kept saying, "Brittany, you had your chance. I'm happy now. Please stop contacting me." It was a complete reversal of fortune. He had everything I used to have, and he was happy. I was alone. Completely alone. All the goals I had for myself, all the fun I was having, it all just crumbled. I achieved my selfish goals of excitement and freedom, only to discover complete loneliness. My identity, everything I built around being the fun, carefree girl, was stripped away. I was just Brittany, the one who cheated online and then tried to gaslight everyone about it. And everyone knew it. Now I just float through my days. I don't care anymore about Liam or what he's doing. Honestly, good for him. But it's not my fault things went bad. He was too sensitive, too dramatic. He couldn't handle a little bit of fun. He was too controlling, always trying to check my devices. And frankly, he wasn't giving me what I needed. It's his fault for not being enough. I don't regret my decisions. I regret how things turned out. I just wanted a little excitement, and he couldn't handle it. He deserved someone who was as boring as he was. And now he has her. So, whatever. I'm fine. I'm totally fine.